Good evening, everyone. Everyone can hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
The purpose of this meeting, tonight's meeting, to give you a little information about our pet license process and microchipping and vaccination, and also improve the pet license process and eventually creating a better community for people and pets. With that, I'm going to try to share my screen to start our PowerPoint. Hopefully I don't mess that up. Let's see here.
Scroll to the top right.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to. Let's see here.
Why don't we just go backwards and start with the last page and go to the first?
Well, for some reason, it's showing the entire PowerPoint, but it's not bringing the screen back up.
When you go to it, right, you got to go to start. Go up to your top and put select that screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, but for some
Go
reason,
there where it says slideshow. Yeah, you're at the right spot. Go back up.
well, now it's not. Trying to find my arrow here. Here we go.
There you go.
Let me try it one more time. Okay. It's going blank for some reason.
Yeah, it's going towards the end. So go back up to it where you were and go over to slideshow.
I think you can hit F5 too to start the slideshow.
There you go. Now select it. No, don't put resume. There you go. Now select it. And
Resume slideshow.
no, go up to the top. You see where the screen, there you go. Select that.
It's still not bringing it up.
We'll put the resume. You had it right.
Huh.
Double click.
Okay.
Okay. So what
Just double
should
click that first one.
Manually select each slide, I think.
Yeah, double click it.
yeah, it's not working.
Okay, go over to slideshow on your no, not keep going, scroll over to your no, not that one. Come back down.
This one?
No, go back up. You had it just says start.
Line above. There you go.
Right. One more.
Over.
This one?
Over
Go
one.
down to transitions and go to your right.
Yeah, you go. Thank you. Let's go.
There you go.
Select it. Now go back to from the beginning. There you go.
Yeah, it's still going blank
Oh,
for
geez.
some reason.
Okay.
Huh.
Well, we'll just use what we have in front of us.
Okay, let's just use that.
Everybody should have their copy of this, right?
Right.
Okay, well. Okay, why not spend your family by 4 feet and create a better community and for pets and people? Now, this provision of ordinance only apply to pet license, rabies vaccination, and pet owners. And fortunately, by this provision is not going to impact to making any amendment to the language itself. That's the advantage of trying to improve in this section of the animal control regulations. So we don't need to go the route of amending any language related to the pet license or rabies vaccination or even the pet ownership. Animal Control Division, we generally and normally we impound and handle in the range of 600 to 650 animals per year as far as impoundment. And then be in partnership with Midwest Animal Rescue, we improve our animal adoption and reduce the amount of euthanasia dramatically. And many animals have been saved and they've been adopted out and located to a new home or finding a new family. And our focus will be promoting identification of these animals and reuniting lost pets with their owners, rightful owners, and then improving the adoption and educating the community, the adoption of the new animals. Generally, our pet license requirement is any animals brought in to the city of Raytown, and whether it's dog, cats, ferrets, or potbelly pigs, within 14 days, they need to be licensed by the city of Raytown. And generally, our pet license requirement is they need to have a rabies vaccination. And the rabies vaccination, it's a lot of time could be 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And right now, our requirement is to have the pet license for the 1 year rabies vaccination. Our goal and objective is here tonight is to get you guys' feedback and direction, see if we can move forward in the future by allowing a pet owner to obtain 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year pets. And if an owner comes in and have a 3 years vaccination, in some instances that they request a 3 year pet license, but right now in particular because of the fee schedule, we are not able to give the 3 year pet license. But then if an owner comes in and get a 2 year pet license, and we try to promote that and ask him to get a 3 year pet license, with that, we offer him a free microchip. And in those instances, we'll increase the number of animals being microchipped. And then that gives us an opportunity to track those animals easier and better within our database system, and hopefully we reunite with their rightful owners, and also increase the pet ownership. And that gives a pet owner or an individual to adopt an animal, to give them an incentive. If we give them a free microchip, then they have an incentive to get the 2 year or 3 years pet license with the city of Raytown. Advantage of having the 2 year or 3 year pet license is save staff time. Currently, staff spends 10 to 15 minutes per pet license. And if we do that 2 years or 3 years, that basically reduces the amount of time 3 times less than what we currently do. And subsequently, we save money, and we reduce the frequency of customers coming to, or pet owners coming to the counter and requesting a pet license on any service related to the animal control. and also reduces the amount of paperwork and the amount of printout that we have to issue each time for a pet owner. And reduces number of tags are used to be issued for a pet owner. And subsequently, fewer citations for pet license. But that's what I mean. Sometimes if an individual have only 1 year pet license, and then whether they forget to renew their animals or for some reason they ignore it, but by having the 3 year, there is a peace of mind that their animal has license for 3 years, so they don't need to worry about each year to come and get the pet license. But if the license get ignored, eventually they're going to get a letter, we issue citation, and they have to come to court, and that's a lot more costly for the city and for the pet owner. With that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or a comment you have.
Okay, could you exit out of the slideshow so I can see everybody?
Sure.
There we go. Okay, everybody is there where we can see them. All right, first Miss Hayden, then Mary Jane, and then Bill.
I just had a question about the rabies vaccination. What's the maximum amount of time, Ray, that the vaccination lasts for an animal?
Well, we've seen some cities, or we've seen some veterinarians, they do give 3 year vaccinations to their animals, up to 3 years.
So I'm assuming that if they want a 3 year license, they would have to have the 3 year vaccination.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anything else? Mary Jane Van Busker.
How much does a 3 year license cost versus a 2 and a 1 year?
Well, currently our fee schedule is for 1 year. So if you guys give the staff direction to move to the 3 year, then the only thing we need to amend is the fee schedule. And right now we have 15 and 20 for fixed and not fixed. But then if we move to the 2 year and 3 year, then our schedule of fees accordingly, we have to amend that, how much it's going to cost for the 2 year and how much it's going to cost for the 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bill Van Busker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, this came about because a constituent contacted me and proposed that our city go to the 1, 2, or 3 year vaccination and license because it's done in some other cities. It sounded very reasonable to me and probably something we would consider doing. I contacted Damon. I know he gave Ray direction to look into that. And so I appreciate the fact that you've done that. And I think it's just a common sense thing to do. It makes a lot of sense to do it. And it's going to make it a lot easier for pet owners, easier for staff. And I think it'd be a good thing to do. I would certainly let everyone speak to this, but I certainly would propose that we go give direction to our staff to pursue this and go to a 3 year licensing and three year vaccination, where they would each individual would have the option to do it for 1, 2, or 3 years. And as far as fees, I think our staff could come up with a satisfactory fee, and there might be a little bit of a reduction, I would suppose, if you go with a 3 year license rather than just renewing it every year. That maybe you can have a little bit of a reduction in what the fee would be if you did it every year. So I think it's a good thing to do, and all around for everybody. So I'll let everyone else speak to the matter. Thank you.
Anyone else? Greg Walters.
Mayor, I'm curious, Ray, do you know what a 1-year vaccination cost is?
Well, generally, the vaccination itself is about $25 to $30, but depends on the veterinarian. If they
Would
are,
this mean that if you got a 3-year vaccination, it would cost you $75 to $90?
yes, like in Kansas City in the past, I'm talking about myself, our vaccination costs us in the range of $85 to $90 for the 3
Okay,
years.
so there's no savings to anybody if they do this.
Well, as far as savings, we're talking about pet license here. The animal need to have vaccination, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years. And the saving is for the city, it's the amount of time staff spends on each time trying to enter the information, but also the saving is as far as for the pet owners, what staff is recommending, like in some instances, if an individual want to get 2 years and then they are trying to decide between 2 years and 3 years, then we offer them a free microchip if they want to go to the 3 years.
I see. I think that we might have more success with this if there was a monetary gain for people if they were to do it. I also wonder what happens if you have somebody gets a 3-year license and their dog dies in year 1 or their cat dies in year 1. Or you just
Our fees are non-refundable. Like I said, if animal dies within a year or two, so those fees are not refundable.
okay, because it's something else we might want to look at. I know that if you sell your car or something like that, you do get a refund from the state of Missouri on that portion of the license, or you're allowed to transfer it forward to the next vehicle that you own. I just wonder if you're talking something that's getting close to 3 figures for a lot of people. I don't know if you'll have a whole lot of people going for this. The microchip, there's my dog's microchipped, and I imagine most people's are. I really honestly don't know who does and who doesn't, but I have talked to people who are very much opposed to microchipping because of health reasons. And I'm not an expert on that, so I would just bring it up for discussion. But I would, Bill, you mentioned that you thought it might be well to add a little bit of an incentive. I think that perhaps rather than setting a number that we say that we need to do this, why don't we just give a motion to increase or to decrease the fee as in a sliding scale as it goes from 1 year to 2 year to 3 years. That way the city saves some money, the people save some money, you'll have more incentive to do it, and I think you'll have more participation. So I'd like to make that motion at this time. Of course, if there's no second, it's not going to really matter. But
Well, I'll give you a second, Greg.
thank you.
Just to make a comment here, as far as the fee schedule, now we need the staff needs direction from the board that if we're gonna move to that direction, then we have to look at our fee schedule and get back to the board and give more information regarding how much it costs for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year. But if you want to do it, one fee for the 3-year pet license.
Well, the intent of the motion is to give you direction to study that and come back to the board with your recommendation as to what would be feasible.
Sure.
Bill Ambusker.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was suggesting, that our staff could look at the fees, come back with a fee schedule for the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And I think it would be productive for good for our citizens and good for our staff if we probably gave people some type of monetary incentive to get a 2 year and maybe a little bit more of a reduction for a 3 year. Because otherwise it's how much did you say a year, Ray?
15 and 20.
Okay. So, probably a little bit of a reduction, monetary reduction would be good. And along with the offer to do the free microchipping if they choose. They're not going to be forced to do that, right?
No. Sir.
And right now, if someone gets a pet license and the pet dies next week, I don't think they get any refund, do they?
No, we don't give them a refund. No, sir.
I've never heard of it.
No, and so I think that's just a chance you would take if you're going to choose to get that.
Okay. Mr. Van Buskirk, if you hang on just a minute. Mr. Walters and Mr. Ward, since this was, Bill has been working on this, it sounded like for a while, I think it's only appropriate that you guys retract yours and let him make the motion. One of y'all can make the second. It sounds like he's got everything, including what you guys are talking
Yeah,
about, involved in it.
I'm fine with that, and I'll let Greg make the second if he wants.
Well, you guys got
Well, I'm fine to rescind.
okay.
Yeah.
All you got to do is
Mr.
say
Mayor?
you're to send, but Mr. Walters has to rescind his.
If it's good for Mr. Van Buskirk, I'd be happy to do that.
It wouldn't matter to me, but if certainly I would make a motion
Oh,
to do,
Lord.
and have the staff take a look at that. I think it'd be good.
I'll second that.
Mr. Walters, you got the second on that one? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And to be very clear, before we take a vote on it, Ray, do you understand what all they wanted to have you guys look at and bring forward?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure because I didn't want to have to go back over and over and over. I want to make your life a little easier. Okay. Anybody else got any comments?
No,
Miss Emerson. You gotta unmute yourself, ma'am. Miss Emerson, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
There
So
you go.
you're saying they need a rabies shot every year?
No, if they come back and they want to get, let's say they want to get a 2-year option, then all they need to have 2-year rabies shot. If they want to get a 3-year option, then they need to have the 3-year rabies shot. So it's optional. We are not going to ask people to get the 2-year or 3-year, but they can have the option of 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year.
Well, my question is, a tetanus shot we get maybe every 10 years. And I don't understand why a dog needs a rabies shot every year, because that should be good for at least 3 or 4 years, I would think.
It's some veterinarian, they give only 1 year, and some veterinarian, they do 3 years. So I'm not sure the reasoning behind that, but that's my understanding.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Van Buskirk. You're muted, sir.
you had said, did I understand you correctly, Ray, that you said that if an animal expires, they get the 3-year tag license, and it expires before that, you'd personally buy them another pet? Did I misunderstand that? No, that's not it. Okay, all right.
Mr. Van Buskirk, I'm going to stop you there just for a minute. I want you to speak out your motion completely, because we've had a lot of back and forth and all that. Speak out your motion so that our staff knows what the motion is going to be when we vote on it, if it passes, and what they need to do.
Okay, my motion is to that staff take a look at the licensing fees and requirements for vaccinations to enable us to do a 1, 2, or 3 year with the intent of some monetary reduction for the 2 year, and then maybe the 3 year, even a little bit of monetary reduction versus getting it every year as an incentive for pet owners, and it would also be advantageous for our staff. So just to pursue that, look at it, look at the licensing fees, and come back with a proposal to us.
All right. All right. Anybody else have any comments before we take a vote on that motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Mims.
and my comment is, I didn't know why we needed a motion for them to work on that. And especially with the alderman, I think it is Bill Van Buskirk going to work with the staff with that. That's number one. Number two, even if I wanted to do it for 3 years, my vet only gives mine, and I got a little bitty baby, and she gets her shots in this for 1 year. They don't do the 2 and 3.
Yeah, you can still do that too. You can still do that. This just extends it up to 3 years. And
I know, but I'm saying they only give her shots once a year. They won't do the 3 years, the 2 and 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got an old dog, and I only give her the other one. I give, if they have a 3 year, I would give it, but she's so old, I only give it 1 year at a time for obvious reasons. But I think the motion was because the whole board needs to make sure that if they're going to be that intricate and bringing something forward, for us to vote on. They need to go ahead and go through this process this time around on this particular item.
So are they working on just the pay scale or just the whole conglomerate of all of it? Because I was gonna vote no, but is this for them to work on doing a pay scale versus looking at what type of shot, I mean, how much the shots are gonna cost?
It's all encompassing.
Okay,
So if you want to give your dog a 3-year shot, then you can also go ahead and buy a 3-year license.
but if I can't get the 3-year shot, then I
Then
can't.
license it for 1 year, and you only have to get a shot 1 year.
Well, you just saved me from doing a no vote. Thank you.
Okay. All right, call the roll, please. You're muted, Ms. Henry.
Alderman Bill Van Buskirk,
Yes.
Alderman Walters,
Yes.
Alderman Emerson,
No.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Azier,
Yes.
Alderman Scott,
Yes.
Alderman Mims,
I'm a no.
Alderman Mary Jane Van Buskirk,
Yes.
Alderman Hayden,
Yes.
Alderman Myers,
Yes.
All right, motion carries 8-2. Very good. All right, anybody else have any comments? Because we're going over here. We're about ready to start our 7 o'clock meeting. So unless anybody has anything, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So
Motion for
move.
adjournment. So moved by Ms. Mims, Miss Mary Jane Van Buskirk has a second. Let's do this by affirmation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against? All right. Well, just stay on because we're going to start the regular session here in just a minute.